All right, it's 12 after 8 at WJBC. Welcoming to the show, Dan Montgomery of the Illinois Federation of Teachers to talk about one of my favorite topics. I can never get tired of talking about pensions. Hi, Dan. How are you?
It's a very sexy topic. Very sexy topic.
All right, so Dan, you spoke in front of the Senate not too long ago saying, hey, we like what Senate President Cullerton has proposed. We like it a lot. Tell me your thoughts on what he's proposed here, because we're getting stories today that the math isn't working out right.
Yeah, well, so Cullerton worked out a bill, Senate Bill 2404. It's over in the House now, that was worked on with the union coalition of public employee unions, teachers, firefighters, nurses, everybody. And what that does is it puts estimates vary from about $46 billion to now, even hearing yesterday from the TRS director, up to $70 billion back into the pension systems. And this, remember, comes out of the pockets of state employees, right? These are folks who, most of them don't have Social Security. Teachers don't get Social Security. And they pay into their pensions. They're paying 9%. Some cops pay 12%. So they're paying all along, years and years and years. The state, the politicians did not put in what they're supposed to put in, so here we are. But this bill would add $800 million back into the state budget for education and healthcare spending, things like that. In 15, it would reduce the unfunded liability by billions. It's again a bit of a question, the exact amount, because this bill gives people some choices. The other significant thing is we believe it's constitutional. So we're going to have a solution that will be immediate, that's not going to get tied up in the courts with an expensive court battle for 2 years. And it moves us, where in our country people are looking for, concord and agreement, and, where else do we have public employee unions saying we'll put, in the order of $50 billion or more on the table to solve a public problem? I don't think there's any other state in the country where that's happened. So we're hoping it'll pass in the House.
When you say it's constitutional, what is constitutional about it? The fact that employees have a choice?
Yeah, exactly. So our Constitution in Illinois is one of the most sort of locked down in the nation in terms of pension benefits. It says once you're in the system, the benefits can never be diminished or altered or impaired. And so that's the problem with the Neckritz-Madigan bill. That's one of the problems with it, which is just a taking. They just take away your benefits. And they take more than we even need to take to solve the problem, which is one reason we're so outraged. But the Cullerton bill says, well, you have some choices. So if you give up some things in one choice, you'll get some other things. They're not of equal value. That's why the state saves money, but you get something. Yeah.
Go ahead. Well, and because of that, you alluded to this, and because of those choices, you really don't know until you know.
Until people make the choices.
Right. Well, how much is this going to save? But the story today is that his proposal would slice only about half of what he's estimating. So does that change in any way your feelings on his proposal?
No, not at all. I mean, Representative Neckritz has been the leader on the one to gouge out the public employee unions to make sure teachers and firefighters and nurses don't have the retirement security that they've paid for their whole careers. And I don't know why, you'd have to ask her why it's so important for her to damage these middle-class folks. But her numbers have never added up. And we stand by our numbers. I think it's a kind of a last-minute desperation attempt. I think we're seeing movement in the House where there are a lot of representatives who would like to be able to vote on this bill, and they're afraid that, gee whiz, this bill might happen. And let me tell you, this bill, if passed, 2404, will immediately help the state. We'll put these systems on the right path. So, one of the choices here, one of the things that costs money is what's called a compounded COLA. It's like a cost of living increase so you don't lose in your pension and retirement, right? Well, it's very expensive. So in Cullerton's bill, there's a choice to get people to go into the less expensive one. And anybody who's probably 50 or younger is going to take that. Well, 75% of all teachers in Illinois are 50 and younger. So we think that this bill is going to save a lot more than they're even estimating. So I don't believe her numbers at all.
So you're out traveling the states, spreading the message here when you've got others saying that the Cullerton plan is far less than right now. They're saying $5 billion, less than the $27 to $30 billion estimate for the Madigan pension bill.
Yeah. And that's off what we call the unfunded liability. In total state payments, the Cullerton bill saves at least 46 and possibly as much as 70 billion. Now remember, the unfunded liability is 94 billion. And again, it's like the proper analogy is the mortgage on your house. You know, if you owe $250,000 on your mortgage, you don't have to pay it tomorrow. That's why it's a mortgage. And the pension systems work the same way. We got to make sure the state makes the payment every year, which the Cullerton bill does. It says the state has to make that payment every year. And if they had been doing that over the past, 2 or 3 decades, then we would not be having this problem.
It amazes me that wasn't written into the original agreement, that the state had to make the payments that they promised.
Yeah. Well, in 1975, my union, the IFT, sued because the state didn't make the right payment. We took it to the Supreme Court. The court said, well, you're right. That's wrong for them to do, but we, the court, can't make the state pay what they're supposed to pay. Come back to us when they don't pay your benefits like they should. And trust me, we will be back at the Supreme Court if they do not pay those benefits like they should.
And when was that?
That was 75, I believe.
Wow.
Yeah.
So where does, we're aware of a deal on cost shifting of the pension burdens to at least universities and community colleges.
Yep.
How does that fit into the Cullerton plan?
Well, it's not part of the Cullerton plan at all. It's not part of the Madigan plan. It's being talked about. The speaker's talking about it. He's saying there will be cost shift. We've opposed it. Look, this is a state that, in terms of the state dollars going to education, is almost 50th in the nation. We are 50th, I believe, in terms of the share of property taxes that pay for education. This is going in the wrong direction. For universities, you had Robert Easter say 1% increase in cost is going to result in a 2% tuition increase. And I don't know about you, I'd like to send my kids to the University of Illinois or ISU or Western or some good public university in Illinois, and I don't know if I'll be able to afford that at this pace.
It is interesting,
believe me, you won't.
I think universities and community colleges, have already accepted that they will be paying something, and it's just a matter of how much and over what time period. That's what I'm hearing.
Yeah, no, that rumor's out there. I agree. We've opposed the fact on the grounds that we need to look at education funding all over. Did you know in higher education, our universities right now are being funded from the state at levels that are about 1997 levels, and they're heading in the wrong direction. We all know in the United States, what do people from all over the world do when they come to the United States? They want to go to our universities because they're the best in the world. And we cannot dismantle them this way.
So you are traveling the state, encouraging people to get a hold of their state representatives and senators and let them know how they feel about this plan and if this is the one to go with?
Yeah, absolutely. And we're getting good feedback. We're having our people. We're trying to mobilize our folks. People are calling our folks are probably have cauliflower ear from all the tension here from all the telephone calls they're making to their representatives. But again, the message for us is get 2404 up for a vote. Tell the speaker to let this bill come up for a vote in the House, and let's see what happens. We think again that this bill, talk about higher ed funding. What if we have $800 million more in the 15 budget to spend on higher ed, K through 12, and the rest of our state needs? That's a good thing, and everybody should support 2404.
As we know, Mike Madigan does what Mike Madigan wants to do. How confident are you that he will actually call this for a vote?
Well, you're right about that, but I would also say that we have found over the years that he responds to his caucus as well. And if he has enough of his own members saying, Speaker, I need to vote on this. I need to vote on this. They like this. They want to vote on it. That's what we're hearing. Why wouldn't they like it? It helps solve the problem. It prevents, endless war with public employee unions. It gets the state on the right track. And it's not going to go to court like the other one is. So this, they should want this. I don't know if he will. I really don't. It's hard to read this man, but we think it's time that Illinois starts passing good public policy and not kicking the can down the road like it's been doing for years.
And the people inside say he gets this done, Madigan, that is, gets this done, then his daughter, when she's governor, doesn't have to deal with it.
Well, yeah, I mean, you would think. Those sorts of calculations are certainly in there. To me, that's an argument for not passing his bill, SB 1, because his daughter is going to have to be in front of the Supreme Court defending this grossly unconstitutional bill in front of the public employees unions, whose support I'm sure she would like.
And again, it's important that people know, because there are a lot of pension bills out there. When you refer to this is Senate Bill 2404.
Correct. Yeah, and it's now in the House, waiting to be voted on. The House. Jay Hoffman is one of the lead sponsors in the House, plus many, many folks from both parties, by the way.
All right, your competence factor out of a scale of 1 to 5, how do you feel about this? Even getting a vote in the House?
I don't know. Maybe it's 50-50. I really don't know. It's tough to know. As you said, with the Speaker, who knows? I mean, we have a situation in the state where one man wields sort of unearthly power.
And you, Dan, are with the Illinois Federation of Teachers. How is the Illinois Education Association on this bill?
They're in lockstep with us, and as all of labor, we one of the most amazing things to come out of this, labor, the House of Labor has many rooms, as they say, but labor's been incredibly unified. Public employees, the trades, private sector unions, we've been incredibly unified under the auspices of the AFL-CIO and President Kerrigan on this pension fight. We have a lot of things. We want this state to work. We want this money freed up so we can have jobs bills, construction bills, things like that. Certainly, higher ed and K-12 needs more funding. There's too many important things right now being. The air is being sucked out of them with this pension fight. Let's get this done now.
All right. Well, good luck to you. You've got Cullerton and Madigan, same party, but they're so far apart on this. It's unbelievable. And you came in so optimistic sounding, and we are a dark cloud over you today now, aren't we?
Well, I'm a teacher. You got to be optimistic.
Yeah.
Every child's going to learn tomorrow's always a new day.
Wow. What color is the sky in the world you live in?
Well, here it's kind of rainy.
Yeah.
But it's supposed to be nicer.
There you go.
Well, we'd like to see it get done one way or the other, because I'll be honest with you, seriously, for a minute, I am so sick and tired of talking about it. I am so tired of politicians coming in. And down here, they're all Republicans. They're so frustrated. They feel like their hands are tied. There's nothing they can do. And you're right. Madigan's king. So
yeah.
We'll see. Good luck to you.
All right, thanks very much, you guys.
Thanks,
appreciate it.
Dan Montgomery, I shut myself off and left him there. Dan Montgomery of the Illinois Federation of Teachers. It's 24 after 8 at WJBC. The forecast from Central, from 31 meteorology.